Rain drizzled softly on the streets of London. City lights shimmered through the water on the glass, painting golden streaks across the wet roads. The sound of engines, footsteps, and raindrops created a lonely melody. Behind the wheel of bus route 47 sat Emma, a quiet, hard-working young woman who spent her days driving through the city, watching strangers come and go, but never really belonging anywhere herself. Every day looked the same until that morning. As she slowed down near the hospital stop, a young man came running through the rain, holding a file in his hand, breathless and late. He knocked on the bus door. Emma smiled faintly and opened it. He stepped in, shook off the rain, and said, "Thank you. You saved my life." Their eyes met for just 2 seconds, but something shifted. A feeling, small and sudden, but real. His name was Ayan, a nurse at St. Mary's Hospital. The next morning, he was there again. Same stop, same smile, same seat. And then the next day, and the next. Emma started recognizing the rhythm of his presence, the sound of his footsteps, the way he adjusted his bag, the way he always looked out the window before glancing toward her mirror. "Morning, Emma," he would say. "Morning, Ayan," she'd reply, trying to hide the warmth in her tone. Soon, their short greetings became small talks. Small talks turned into laughter, laughter into comfort. Ayan would tell her stories from the hospital, about patients, about hope, about life. Emma would listen, her heart softening each day. She had never told anyone how lonely she felt, how her life was a loop of roads, turns, and traffic lights. But somehow, this stranger made her feel seen. One rainy evening, the bus was almost empty. The city lights flickered through the window as they reached the last stop. Ayan stood by the door, but didn't leave. He looked at her and said softly, "You know, every morning when I take this bus, it doesn't feel like I'm going to work. It feels like I'm going to see someone who makes my day worth it." Emma froze. She looked at him, unsure, scared yet happy. She whispered, "Ayan, you shouldn't say things like that. You don't even know who I really am." He smiled gently. Sometimes, knowing someone's heart is enough. The silence between them spoke louder than any words. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She knew something had changed forever. Days turned into weeks. Now, they had their little rituals. Ayan would always bring her a cup of coffee before his shift. Emma would wait a few extra seconds at his stop, pretending it was because of the traffic. Sometimes they'd share an umbrella in the rain. Sometimes they'd just talk about nothing at all. For the first time, Emma felt alive, like her heart had found a destination. Ayan once told her, "You drive people to where they need to go, but somehow, you've become my destination." She smiled, hiding the tears that glistened in her eyes. One morning, Ayan didn't show up. Then the next, and the next. Emma waited, checking the mirror every few minutes, but his face never appeared. 3 days later, she stopped her bus in front of the hospital and walked inside, heart pounding. When she entered, she saw him lying on a bed, his arm in a sling, face pale but smiling faintly. "Ayan," she gasped. "What happened?" He chuckled weakly. "Just a small accident on the way to work. I didn't want to worry you." She held his hand, tears slipping down her cheeks. "You idiot," she whispered. "I was worried." He looked at her softly. "Emma, if I had to get hit by a car just to know you care, maybe it was worth it." They both laughed. But deep down, Emma knew how fragile this happiness was. A few weeks later, Ayan came to see her one last time. His eyes were calm, but there was something heavy in his silence. "Emma," he said quietly, "I've been transferred to Pakistan, to Lahore General Hospital. I leave tomorrow." The world stopped. Emma felt her throat tighten. "Tomorrow?" she whispered. "You can't just leave like that." He nodded slowly. "It's my job, and maybe it's fate." He reached into his pocket and handed her a folded note. "If life ever brings me back to London, I'll wait for your bus, same stop. same time. Emma stood frozen as he walked away. Rain started falling again, washing away everything except the pain. That night, Emma drove her bus through the empty streets. Every stop felt heavier, every turn lonelier. Months passed. Seasons changed. But Emma never changed her route. Every morning, she stopped for a few seconds longer at the hospital. Stop her eyes scanning the crowd, hoping, just hoping. But Ayan was never there. One evening, as the sun set behind the tall buildings, she whispered to herself, "Still waiting, Ayan. Still waiting." Raindrops began to fall again, just like the first day they met. She smiled faintly, started the engine, and drove into the fading light, carrying a love that never reached its destination. Some love stories don't end with forever. They end with "remember me."